Yan. So, we're back online, I think. So, yeah. Connect lang tayo sa video ni Cap. No? For some unknown reason. Ang bilis siya maputol, actually. Yan. Sige, sir. Yan. Alright, guys. So, we are back in business. Nandiyan na si Captain. Looking good, sir. Yan, sorry about that for the technical difficulties. Hindi nakisama yung yung internet. So, okay. So, Cap, how did you start? Just a quick briefing lang na how did you start in aviation for the viewers to know, diba?
I guess it started way back in high school, but it never really started after I started college. So high school wise, nag-start ako sa ROTC, which is Air Force for our school.
Mm-hmm.
And the colonel there is a flight instructor and is very eager to take up people who wants to fly.
Wow.
And he got me hooked on one day where we had a aviation camp, and it was $40 for a 30-minute ride. And after just a 30-minute ride, I got hooked. And after that, I just took it seriously.
$40?
Yeah, $40. Yeah, it was $40.
Wow. Mura na na.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad, right? Ayan. So, you finished flying, and then syempre you did some gigs. What was your best gig after I mean before flying, before joining the airlines? The best you can remember.
I think the best one that I had was flying private with a King Air.
Wow.
That's actually how I learned, CRM and whatnot. It's a real one.
So, you started doing CRM when you went to the King Airs.
Yes.
I have some questions about CRM later on, but since many of guys out here are also interested in going to the airlines, so what's the minimum requirement in the States to apply as an entry-level first officer in the airlines in the States?
To get to the airlines for Part 121, you need to have at least 1,500 hours of total time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you went to university, for example, Embry-Riddle, ASU, and have a bachelor's degree in aviation-related courses, you could go as low as 1,000.
Wow, 1,000 hours.
Yeah, just 500 less than everybody else.
Wow.
If you have if you have a associate's degree, you can go in with 1,250.
Ganda. Galing, ha? Do they require multi-engine experience before you go into the airlines?
Yes, most do. I think it's 25 hours of multi-engine experience.
Wow. And how many hours did you get on the King Airs, by the way?
I had 400 hours in it.
400?
Yeah.
Dami. Wow.
Yeah, that's not bad. It was slow. I think I worked there for a year and a half.
Oh, wow. So, why do you think it's a higher requirement, flying time-wise, to get into the airlines?
It dates back with the Golden Air crash. Where because before this, people could go in as low as 250, and apparently now it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of stuff that you could only learn through experiences, and that's why they added the hours in.
Oh, okay. I guess this is
so
after
with more hours, yeah.
Wow. This is after the
They'd
Colgan
rather have-
crash, diba?
Mhm.
Yeah, the Colgan
Yes.
the accident, yeah. So So on average, say a guy or a gal have a CFI or CFII, how fast can they achieve the required number of hours to be able to join the airlines?
If they go full time as an instructor, they could do it in a year and a half. And that's
Talaga?
working pretty much every day. Yeah.
Ganun kabilis, ha?
Because you start at maybe 250, and then you have to work 1250 hours,
Uh-huh.
get to 1500. So it's about a year and a half if you do it full
Wow.
time.
So you have an instructor rating. Did you enjoy teaching, by the way?
I did. I still teach here and there, but not a whole lot.
Wow.
But
How many
teaching was a
hours?
good way to learn.
How many hours did you
Teaching
teach?
time,
Yeah.
about 900 hours of teaching.
900 hours. Oh, ang dami.
Yeah.
That's mixed already, singles and multis, right?
Yes.
Oh wow. Um, so since you're also a flight instructor, any advice or suggestions on how can one ensure that they have quality flight hours before they go to the airlines? Is it enough that they
And
just
like
fly? Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
like we talked about before this meeting, solo flying, because that builds a confidence as a pilot. So
Mm-hmm.
you would need real solo flying, because that way you know that you could actually fly an airplane without other people's inputs,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you lose the guy you're flying with.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with that. Solo time. Yeah. So, any advice on how could they gain solo hours quickly, like outside of the flying school? You know, should they apply on small jobs that require a single pilot?
That'd be a good way to do it. I'm not sure how it works here in the Philippines, but in the States, they could maybe fly a what do they call that? Aerial mapping,
Oh yes,
and
yes.
that's one way. Yeah, that's one way to do it. They usually use a 172 single pilot to do that.
Oh, did you do aerial mapping before?
No, I did not.
How
I don't
about
think I could. I don't think I could do it.
you have to fly low, right, for the aerial mapping missions? Uh,
It's just a lot. It's a lot. It's just a lot of time in the air
yeah,
in one day.
in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it enough to just let's say he is a current student. Is it enough that he just fly cross country from point A to point B to build his experience? You know, the same route over and over.
I don't think that would work because repetition would only give you skill enhancing for the skills you have now. You have to actually challenge yourself and go out of your comfort zone to actually learn as a pilot. So you
Oh,
always have to challenge yourself somehow.
so you always have to challenge yourself. Yes, I agree with that. Actually, even for IFR flights, when I fly with them, let's say a surge, I always try to pick a different airport because if I
Yeah.
passed by that what do you call this? I passed by that chart already.
Yeah.
It sticks to your to your brain. So you want to
That's true. Yeah.
yeah.
You don't want to ever get complacent as a pilot.
Yeah. So So what are the advantage of building those quality flight time on early training days?
We have this thing called primacy. So as an instructor, um, what do you call that? For what it was. It's something uh, about students. You
Mm-hmm.
have to teach it to them the first time
Mm-hmm.
that's the only time it would stick. You teach them right the first time, and that's how they're going to learn for the rest of their career.
Correct. Yeah. Of course, as an instructor, probably it's it's a pride for you to see your student when you teach them right and then they prosper. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Um. Did teaching also boosted your confidence and quality flying hours? What do you think?
It did, but then like we talked about, teaching would actually plateau for after a while. Maybe up around 500 hours of teaching, you plateau as an instructor, and you won't learn about yourself or about teaching anymore. That's why you have to go ahead and broaden your knowledge by going to different flying. That's why I went to private
Yeah.
for a bit.
Oh.
That way, learning about the King Air and whatnot, I understood more of the turbine engines and whatnot, and then I could teach the students that.
Wow. Okay. So that's a lot of flying time actually. What how much time did you have when you joined the airlines, if you don't mind me asking?
Let's see. I joined when I had 1504, so 1,504 hours.
Wow. Yeah. So saktong-sakto ka doon, no? Yeah.
Saktong-sakto lang.
Yeah. Wow. Pero mabilis mo lang nabuno yan, di ba? 1,500 hours.
Uh, kind of. I think I did it in 2.5 years because it slowed me down because of the King Air job because it was slow. It was only 30 hours a month.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So as a captain now, obviously there's a lot of young guys who fresh from school who wish to apply a job. Nothing wrong with that, of course, diba?
Yeah.
What do you expect from a first officer? Um, when you are
What do I
flying with a
expect
first
from
officer?
them?
Yeah.
The only thing I expect from them is to be, be fit and ready for duty, not just physically but mentally as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the airlines, your SOPs they change every time, so I'd want them to go ahead and be up to date about that, or be
Okay.
willing, at least just be willing to learn what changed. Because I myself is not perfect. Sometimes I need the first officer's inputs, and that's one of the good ways to become a captain is always be ready for our inputs.
Correct. Yeah. Obviously, yung mas maganda yung he's willing to receive instructions as well,
Yes.
and and he's happy about it, and he's willing to grow as well, diba? Um,
Yeah.
do you think uh, by being mentally fit and physically fit, do you think that the first officer should be able to replace the captain at a heartbeat's notice, no? Like crew incapacitation, and he should be able to take all the responsibilities of the captain.
Well, I think it's in their job description. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, it doesn't happen overnight. Some people are just not ready for it.
Correct.
So they go ahead and learn that through experiences. So they get starts at training in the airlines.
Mm-hmm.
See if you have any type of command ability. Then after that, you go into the line and then you learn more there. And once you start learning more, you get more confident. And
Oh,
it'll be no problem. Yeah, it would be no problem for a first officer to take the spot of a captain when he isn't
wow.
capacitated.
So when they apply for first officer job, they get tested too if they are ready for a command for future.
Yes, yeah. That's how
Oh.
usually that's how usually the what do you call that? The interviews go. Because
Oh.
we had a scenario where the least experienced guy
Mm-hmm.
was on the left seat just so they can see his what do you call that? His skills and his thinking process, and then the next experienced guy would be in the right seat, and then the most experienced guy would be in the jump seat. They just want you to go ahead and, as a captain, they want you to go ahead and be ready to use all of the resources that you have, and from there you got with you at least 2 more guys that could help you out, the jump seater and the first officer.
Wow.
They teach that to you right away.
Yeah, definitely, diba? And the new guy will definitely learn on the job, diba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask this, but have you had those I should not die this moments? I should not die I should not have I should not die on this particular moment simply because you think the
Uh,
FO is still not yet ready.
It hasn't happened yet. But hopefully, it does not. But I trust the training department enough to weed those guys out, so that we don't have to deal with it in the real world.
Wow. So they have a training obviously when they get on board, right? Diba?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you screen them out properly. So yeah. So
So the way the training goes, you get about 3 weeks of ground school, and then another 4 to 5 weeks of sim training. And after you pass the sim training, you get your type rating, and then they put you through what they call the initial operating experience with a check airman, and you actually fly the real plane with passengers for the very first time. That's how they check the boxes if you meet all of them in the real world.
wow. So did you had fun when you were first officer, sir?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Talaga. As a first officer on your training days, what was the best experience you had?
Actually, getting out into the line for the very first time. That first time I actually held the aircraft and took off for real. So I was just smiling the whole time I was taking off. And then
Wow.
the check airman saw that. Yeah.
That's a CRJ, right? You went straight to the CRJ,
Yes,
right?
it's a CRJ.
Wow. So the first time you actually flew the airplane and you landed it, I guess, since you took it off, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the things usually go. The check airman usually takes the first leg, just so you can get orientated,
Uh-huh.
and then after that, he gives you the aircraft on the next leg. And then with IOE, it's usually mostly your legs because they're trying to make sure that you actually can fly. So 90% of the legs are yours, and then the captain takes on.
Ang galing, ang galing. So
Yeah.
so you started on the sim and then you went to what do you call this? To the actual aircraft. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. So
But the only time you see the actual aircraft is with passengers for the very first time.
Oh, how about the IOE experience? How long did it take?
Depends on you. Usually it should take about 3 trips or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Some people take more, and that's totally fine because it's just more of being comfortable with the plane at that point.
Wow.
But I think you can't go more than 50 hours or something with a check airman. If you do, you got to go back to sim training.
Oh, you gotta go to the sim check, to the sim again. Okay.
Yes, and they'll put you in a special tracking. At least for our company, that's what we do.
And Nico Espiritu saying, "Sup, Paul?"
Musta?
Ayun. So he's watching, diba? So if the first officer obviously it's part of his job, no, and it's part of his training, yung mga crew incapacitation and everything. Needs to replace the captain probably due to incapacitation. What skills should he possess actually? I'm sorry, that's my son. He's playing.
So yeah, let's just go back to the solo training that we talked about. It's all about confidence in yourself. And that happens with more experience.
Correct.
As you get more experience, you get more confident about yourself.
Correct.
And as we talked about, it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So they learned this throughout their first officer days, or even starting as a student pilot flying solo.
Oh, thank you. That's good. I think that's really good. Yeah. Um, as a captain, sir, what are the responsibilities of a captain aside from siyempre, flying the plane? Um,
Well, think of a captain like a manager. So captains run the ship. You delegate and assign tasks as needed.
mm-hmm.
So in layman's term, a captain is just a manager, and they just run the whole show.
You run the whole show.
Just run the whole show.
Also the the cabin crew. You should be all in sync, right? As a captain, you
Yes.
wow. Yun. So
And one way to become extinct before a trip is briefings. It's actually required every trip.
so you also do the briefing for the cabin crews too, right? Or the whole crew.
Yes, we do. Yeah, for the whole crew.
Wow.
And we just talk about little stuff like what we need to do for communications, if they're under duress, what happens, what we should do during evacuation, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Just cover that. It's usually uniform with every captain, but some have their own spiel. So it's always good to listen to the briefings.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a lot of responsibilities actually. How many crew members do you have on the CRJ?
So two pilots, just me and the first officer, and two flight attendants.
And then
About
plus
it. It's,
100 plus passengers.
I think the most, because of the scope, the most we could carry in the 900, which is our longest aircraft,
Mm-hmm.
76.
Oh,
Or
76.
76 or 78. Yeah.
But still, that's I mean, if you're in charge of all of those, that's a lot of responsibilities, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So when you were offered the left seat, were you scared at kahit konti? But I know you're very excited to do it because you love to fly. So how
No,
did
to
you
be
feel?
honest, I almost wanted to pull out of my bed, the left seat. And one night, I told myself I'll just pull out and do it again in a couple months. But when I woke up the next day,
Uh-huh.
they awarded it to me, so I couldn't do anything. I'm like, I guess I have to do it. So I felt excited to do it.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you never really feel ready until you actually sit in a seat. So the only
Oh,
way to become ready to become a captain is to be one.
correct. So I guess nobody is born ready for that.
Yeah,
Unless you're there already.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can say you're ready, but by the time you get to the seat, there's a lot of stuff you learn.
Oh, yeah.
You'll make mistakes and you learn from them.
Correct.
It's just the normal process for learning.
Wow. So, with your experience, how does a company look for a particular captain inside the FO pool? Do they look for some specific qualities or something like that?
For us, they do not. They usually look at seniority levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes by seniority.
Okay.
And if you meet the requirements are just 1,000 in the company,
Mm-hmm.
and then at least 2,500 total time you could get the bid.
Oh. So, as an FO, you can bid for the captainship, right?
Yes.
Oh. And then once you're selected for the bid, do they give you particular training before the captainship aside from the flying wise, some leadership training?
Oh, they do that in ground training. Yeah, you cover about 2 days of it.
Oh. Wow, ganun pala yun, ano. Um
Oh, yeah.
so uh does the captain need to be the guy who is really really good in flying? Or
The captain should be a great leader.
he should.
That's all a captain should be. Yeah, because flying skills should be a given. But the thing that captains need to work on most, or aspiring captains need to work on most, is leadership.
Leadership, yes.
Because if you fail as a leader, you'll fail as a captain, and you'll fail your whole crew.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's really good. Yeah. So leadership skills is really important, guys. So
Yes.
if you are
Very.
looking forward for the left seat, diba? Definitely the leadership is there.
Yeah,
What?
and you must be a flexible leader.
Correct. Kasi you'll be flying with a lot of different people.
Yes, exactly.
So-
And one leadership style might not work.
Oh. So you also adjust to your crew. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. The same thing I learned that by being a flight instructor. Because one student may not learn it the same way as you would teach a different student, right?
Oh.
You have to adjust your leadership skills or how you teach things, just so they could get it or they would work.
Correct. Yeah. So can you give a suggestion on how one can prepare for the upgrade from the right seat to the left seat?
By the way, I think the best way would be, let's see here, just having a positive attitude. Because having a good attitude is hard to learn, but skills can be taught. And the next thing would be always asking questions. So always be eager to learn by asking questions from your captains. They'll teach you on ways of becoming a captain.
Oh, yeah. So do you think asking the why questions, the why, is a good example? You know, why do I have to turn on?
Yes.
You know. Wow. How easy is it to fly the CRJ? I'm really curious about that.
Well, it's harder than flying the Airbus. Because on the CRJ everything's kind of manual. But it's an easier plane to fly if you compare it maybe to a 172.
Talaga?
But if you do it wrong, it actually cruise. You could get in trouble.
Yeah, it's fast also, and then it'll can kill you faster if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
Since how about the? I have a question. How about the V1 cuts for those airplane? I know it's take cut. Are they violent on the yaw
They're not. The same thing during multi-engine training is the same exact concept.
Wow.
But it's a lot easier to handle.
The CRJ, right? What's the difference for the CRJ and the ERJ?
The CRJs are the engines are mounted in the back, while the ERJs are kind of like a small 737. So you could say a CRJ would be a mini MD-80 or MD-90, and then an ERJ would be a small 7.3.
Wow. So, but same lang sila, diba? I mean, they're the same family. Bigger lang yung ERJ, correct?
No, the ERJs are Embraers. The CRJs are Bombardier.
Oh, correct. Yeah. Bombardier. Yeah. Sorry.
But they're both regional planes.
Both the reasonable points. Yeah. Sorry about that. I got confused. I'm really sorry. Yeah, kasi sorry, I have the plane, and then CRJs and ERJs they come together, I think. So yeah, so Embraer nga pala si ERJ. Correct. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah. But yung cockpit niya with the CRJ, you still have the yoke, diba? Hindi siya yung...
They still have the yoke.
Yeah.
But it's not like a wrap on the ERJ, it's a ram's horn.
Correct.
It's kind of weird to hold.
Parang bike, I guess.
Yeah.
Diba? Yeah. Um, so aside from CRJs, aside from King Airs, what else did you enjoy flying? If one would may ask.
I enjoyed. Let's see. I did enjoy my training days. That's where I met people,
Hmm?
made connections that way.
Oh, yeah. So your students now, are they in the airlines too?
And then the airlines as well. Some of them were at SkyWest, some of them were somewhere else.
Galing, galing, galing. Yun. So guys, um, let's ask Captain Escalante, what's the advice do you would you give for those who would like to for those who wish to start their training? Do you think it's a good time to do it now?
I believe it is a good time to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least in the States, airlines are starting to hire again. I mean, it's not 100% full recovery yet. It may take a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But since we talked about earlier that training and time building would actually take a few years anyway. So by the time you actually finish your hours,
Mm-hmm.
airlines will still be hiring, and regionals will be hurting to get more pilots in. So the movement's going to be quick again in a few years.
Definitely yes. And things will get better soon, I guess. I
I do
hope.
hope so.
Yeah, I hope. And Nico Espiritu is asking, what is your advice to him daw?
That's
Tinawanan ka
something I could only.
tinawanan ka lang ni Paul, Nico.
Sikatang
um,
malapit muna yan.
ano?
Sikatang malapit muna.
Sikretong malupit daw. Alright. I guess
Oo.
PPM na lang sa'yo ni Captain Paul. Yung advice niya sa'yo, Nico. Ay, nakita na ba kayo nito? When you were here last time, nakita ba kayo?
Not the last time, but I think before the pandemic, we saw each other. I think we
Oh.
went out for food and coffee.
Oh, talaga? Wow. So you flew together dyan sa States, correct?
Oh, not yet, not yet.
Oh.
I think we'll try. Hopefully, if we get a chance to do it, we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Diba? Yeah, and I hope to fly with you again soon. So,
I know, man. Yeah, hopefully soon.
any
Ano ba tayo ulit
advice
na?
for future aviators? Not those who are sorry. Any advice for those who are currently on their aviation training? Uh, sh- Things that they should do, and things that they should start learning if they want to go to the airlines.
Let's see. Kind of like the same thing we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you keep a positive attitude throughout your training and just always be eager to learn, you'll be successful. The
Correct.
big pot's always learning, and you're lying if you say that you know it.
Yun. Tama, tama. Always have a positive attitude in life, diba?
Yes.
Correct.
Something I think I forgot who said that. I think it's M0A. It's one of the bloggers
Mm-hmm.
from back when I was training. That was his quote: "A good pilot is always learning."
Correct. And every day is a learning experience,
Oh yes.
diba? Yun. Next time papaturo ako sa ng mga numbers ng CRJ so I could fly it
Yeah.
properly. Yan.
Di ba may ano naman yun on the CRJ thing and the sim, they have like an EFB on the side, I think.
Mhm.
And then you can set up the numbers and whatnot.
Ah, talaga?
'Cause everything's by weight. Yeah, everything's by weight.
Correct, yeah. Yan. So, yeah, depende sa weight mo, the numbers would be different. Diba?
Yes. And then flop settings and whatnot. And temperature.
So, you
It's all on the
use,
card. You know,
do you use an iPad app or an iOS app to calculate all of those? Or you just put it on the FMC?
if the FMS doesn't work, we can use our iPads. It's the same thing. We just put the numbers in, and somebody else will calculate it for us. A company that our airline, they hire somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Aerodata,
Oh,
and those are the guys that calculate our numbers. All we'll have to do is put the numbers in percent, and they give it back to us.
wow. So, a few more questions, and I'm gonna start our descent soon. So, what they call this? What's a day in a like? What's a sample of your day pre-pandemic as on the regionals? I mean, how many hours do you fly per day?
When I first upgraded,
Uh huh.
we were very busy. Because I usually junior captains or brand new captains, they get abused with hours, which is good if you want to fly.
Mm-hmm.
I think the month of I think it's February is when I finished. I flew about 88 hours
A month.
for the month of for the month of February 2020, and they paid me for 130 hours. It was a good paycheck, but I was burned.
Wow. Wow.
And
Galing.
I was a reserve pilot, so you were standby just waiting for a call.
Mm-hmm. Galing. 88 hours, ang bilis mo lang makakabuo ng malaking oras nun, no? Kung a
Yeah,
month.
if we kept doing that,
Yeah. How
it
about
was 88 hours. Let me check.
how about now? How's your passenger load? Is it picking up?
That's picking up. It's usually full if you go to Aspen.
Talaga?
Oh, it's full.
Galing, galing. Sana ganyan din dito. I think it's also picking up
Wow.
here, pero not as what your guys are doing in the States now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to commute now where everyone's packing up in the plane.
Yeah. All right. So those are all my questions. Kailan ka ulit babalik dito after your this trip?
Actually, I don't know because they took out the leave programs.
Uh-huh.
So right now we don't have any leave programs anymore. So we gotta be senior enough to be awarded vacation now.
Oh.
So I mean, it's a good sign that the airlines are recovering
Mhm.
because they only had that program during the pandemic so that they don't lose money.
Wow. Okay. So now so they're giving you leave options that you can take.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Wow.
and that ended this month.
Mhm.
So the month of May was the last voluntary leaves
Mhm.
that the company was offering.
Wow. Saya nun, ha? Diba?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, you get paid to have a vacation, which is great.
Galing, 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 galing. Yun. I hope you enjoy your stay. You'll be leaving soon too. 5 days from now. Tama ba? 28?
It's been cut short. I have to get currency landings into Aspen.
Wow,
I'm
Colorado.
I'm about to expire on June 9th. So every 45 days we have to at least have 2 landings there.
Talaga? Wow. So, di ba high altitude airport yun? Colorado?
Yeah, it's a high altitude airport, and you need special qualifications to get to the airport.
Wow.
That's why they have this restriction of 45 days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once I get more experience going there, if I have 26 or more landings into Aspen,
Mhm.
I could go by with 2 landings every 6 days. So they added 15 days.
Oh, galing, galing. Yeah, I would love to visit Aspen. I've never been there. Diba? Sana all
Oh,
can go
it's fun.
there.
It's fun.
How
For
challenging is the landing there? If you don't mind me asking.
it could get nasty because you got wind shears everywhere, and if you
Mhm.
have to go around our company, we have a bulk planning procedure, and it's just a lot of work.
Talaga?
If you don't do the bulk planning right, you'll hit a mountain.
Galing.
For corporate guys, it may be easier for them because maybe they have a more powerful aircraft for an
Correct.
aircraft performance.
Yeah. Galing, galing. Nakakatawa yun. Tatry ko nga sa sim yan. Aspen, Colorado. Any
I'll send
approach? Any,
I'll
yung...
send you I'll
Sige.
send you the charts, the jet charts.
Yun. What's your favorite approach there?
There's only one.
Oh.
There's one way, one way in, one
All
way
right.
out.
See, I've never been there. There's only one approach.
Yeah. So when you take off, you
Mhm.
take off the opposite end, and the people. So it's runway 15 and runway 33. You
Okay.
land runway 15, you take off at runway 33.
Okay.
And by the time the guy on final gets to 6 miles,
Mhm.
they clear the guy for takeoff,
Okay.
and you have to do this thing called the wrap. So when you take off,
Uh-huh.
about 50 feet, you start a 30-degree bank to the right.
Wow.
To I forgot what heading that was, but I think it's heading of let's see.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually.
I forgot what heading. I think it's heading 357 or something like that. You turn about 30 degrees or 20 degrees to the right. And then once you reach a certain altitude, once you reach a certain, no, it's 343.
Uh-huh.
Actually, just 10 degrees to the right.
Okay.
When you're landing, you take off, you turn 10 degrees to the right,
Uh-huh.
and by the time you get to 9100, you start at left turn, you're heading 273, and you just go above the guy landing.
Galing.
Yeah.
How about the approach? I mean, so, diba, mukhang curve na yung takeoff mo. I guess, curve din yung approach mo.
Oh, no, you go straight in. It's just the guy taking off will curve around.
Oh, okay. So, challenging, huh?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it gets fun. So Captain on the landing, and the FOs take the takeoff.
Uy, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that actually.
Oh,
When you take off, immediate turn, alam mo yan, yung...
Immediate turn, 10 degrees to the right, heading 340. I can teach this here. It's the same. It's the same. It's an Aspen thing for everybody.
Talaga. Yun. Sige nga, matry ko nga yan. I mean, I'll try it first on probably on a lighter jet. And then, diba? Okay. So, marginal na lang ba yung performance mo for a CRJ on Aspen? I mean, just enough.
They go. It's way more than enough to get there, but some days when it's hot and it's windy, I feel like it's not enough. But it's enough.
Talaga.
Yes, it's just enough power to get to Aspen.
Exciting yun, that's the one.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, one approach and takeoff that I would love to do. Yeah. So, what's the elevation again of Aspen?
I think it's 7,400 feet.
Oh, wow. Taas, huh? On a hot day, that would be, what, running around 10K density altitude?
7,800 feet. Yeah, around there when it gets hot.
Talaga? Galing. Ayun, sige.
I think Niggy goes there as well in his PC-12. I've seen some pictures.
Sige. Would love to see them.
I haven't seen them there yet. I think they usually probably go in the winter, during the winter.
Talaga. Sige. Papaturo ako sa inyo yan. I'll try it on the CRJ. And
Yeah,
well,
I'll send you the charts.
sige, sige, sige. Thank you so much. I have another
Yeah,
question.
man.
If I go to the
Sige.
States, is there a simulator for me that I could try sa CRJ?
That I'm not too sure if we have
It's
any,
not for
or if
rating,
there's a place.
not for
Yeah,
rating.
if there's.
Parang for fun.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
What would sync rate, sync rate?
I'll check something and see if there's something available for that. I'm pretty sure there should be. Just
Uh-huh.
for fun.
Talaga? Sige.
There should be.
I'll try that. Sige, sana merong available na level D that I could,
I
try.
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, legally, I'm not allowed to fly the real steel. Level D lang, masaya na ako.
That's fun. It gets you there.
Yeah. Is it different, the level D and the real thing? What's the big difference? Is there any?
What do you call that? The level D doesn't really get gust factors when you're landing.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say it's gusty, it actually feels smooth. It's just a lot of wind. You're just crabbed into the wind when you're landing. In the real plane or in the real world, it's very bumpy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yun. So, yun. Guys, thank you so much for holding up for viewing and for staying with Captain Paul Escalante. Yun. And thank you so much, Cap Paul, for giving us your time tonight.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Yun. Hope to see you soon.
I hope so too, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully
man.
soon.
Enjoy your
And
stay.
we'll fly.
Yeah, enjoy your stay
Thank you,
here.
man. We'll do.
Salamat, sir. Yun. Thank
No
you.
problem, man. No problem. Have a good day. Sige, I'll see you guys.
See you soon, man. See you soon. Bye. Thank you so much, sir. Yun, guys. So, that's Captain Paul Escalante. So, nagkamali pa tayo kanina. Sorry about that. Napaghahalo ko yung CRJ and ERJ. So, we've started our descent. May mali akong ginawa. So, let's do the briefing. So, we're nearing the K. I think. Let me check the FMC. Tingnan ko na yung FMC. Sa flight plan na ako na una. So, I mean, fourth flight. So, nagpunta tayo ng T1. Yeah, tapos si Seth. Diba? Okay, wait. Let's check. And then, where is it? Wait, ba't may discontinuity yun? Okay, so Majo. Yeah, we're approaching Majo. Sige, let's stick at 16,000. We still have... wala yung 201 miles. Sige, kumala tayo. Okay lang naman yun. Let's talk rock miles.
Transition altitude. Nearest altimeter. 3005.
Ayos. 3005. So, bakit 3005 yun? What's the nearest altimeter? Hintay. Weather. Okay, 1017. Yo! And so, bilisan lang natin yung aeroplano. Bagal. Kaya pa naman mag 300 knots yun. Malapit na yan. About 7 minutes to LVZ. Then we'll, yeah, sakto lang. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So, alright. We started our descent. So, binilisan ko na yung aeroplano. And, i-red line na natin. Yeah. So, we just passed transition altitude 1017. Uh, 1017. Wala. 1017. So guys, tonight, pag landing natin, we'll switch to Kenneth. Diba? He's probably waiting. Okay. Malapit na to. So let's do the briefing for KJFK. Para hindi natin makalimutan. And then I'll do a quick restroom break. Okay. KJFK. Uy, Chris Vallejo. Good evening, sir. Actually, good morning to you. Kamusta, sir? Leo Val. Cleophas. Yun. Thank you for watching. We are we started our descent actually down to flight 16,000. Ito tayo ng JFK. Never pa ako nakalanding dyan.
Destination 8 is 128.725.
Alright. Sorry for flight ingay mo. 128.725. Sige na. Uy, ay wala pa yung keyboard game. 128.725. Hindi na for flight na. 128.725. So guys, hindi tayo kumonect sa VATSIM. And you can hear my son playing Roblox. Teka. Na-excite siya. Right. Meron na ba? Wala pa. So, okay. Johan? 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 Yeah, can you lower, please? Okay, KJFK. So, ang arrival natin, Lendy 6 at to binder. And then, we'll do an ILS 3-1. 1-3. May viewer din pala. Saan nag-viewer na lang ako? Okay. So, the arrival. So, we'll be coming in. Kakayanin nga natin yung 4th flight. Pwede naman kaya ito. Malakihan natin yung 4th flight. So, yung 4th flight, kakayanin natin. Okay. Okay guys, huwag niyo ako dito. Joke lang. Chart eh. Kaya na na ako. So, Lendy. So, nadaan tayo ng Wilkes-Barre sa LVC. Wala naman ang altitude sa LVC. Turbojet and turboprop aircraft flying global operating at 250 knots. 250 knots or greater at flight level 190. Oh, la. I think we have to plan. So, naghahanapin din. So, sige, let's go back to 230 and let's do a management. Kasi kailangan natin yung, and that's over hard T. Kaya naman. Kaya naman natin yung 230 hard T. Please send that tayo. Poor planning. Okay. Pinagpasa ng chart. So, Zeno 230 and 230 hard T. Flight level 190. 250 knots at Glendy. Grabe yung bilis. And to LaGuardia. Turbojet, vertical navigation, flight level.
Climbing to transition altitude.
Yes, sir. Okay, transition altitude set. Set. The destination data. Ayan na, wala pa akong destination data. Wala pa akong itis. So, yun. I guess tama. Liba. So, tama. Okay. So, like tayo dito. Saan yung plates ko? Fudge. Paano ko i-close yung binder? Yan. Okay. JFK ILS 31. So localizer is 11135. Approach course 314. So simultaneous approach. Authorized. Climb 400 and climb left to 3000. Intercepting JFK V4. DME ratio 100 to chant, which is 19 DME and hold. Okay. So initial approach chant. Chant 8. Hold. Okay. So we'll be coming in from the north. Papasok tayo via the Deer Park. No, IAF. Initial approach fix. So sa Deer Park, parang siya nilagay na minimum sa design ko maigi. Ground alright, so ano siya nilagay na minimum. But sa tax initial fix 2,000 tayo dapat. Inbound 314. 90 degree turn, no? Galing. Alright, so, okay. 2,000 pala tapos sa Deer Park. Grabe, ang steep ng descent natin dito. Hindi ba pwedeng ano yun? Minimum siya ba yun? Alright. $230 gold. 2,000. Oh, hindi pwedeng ano eh. Pwede na. Ano ba? Practice yun din. Pwede na. Ang taas na ito, man. Lusot pa rin ito. Zero speed brakes. Lapit na natin. Nagpasa tayo ng Zen. Sige, okay lang. Continue si Zen. Zen, diretso. 4,000. Alright. So, nagkamali tayo ng binasa. I mean, magkamali interpret. So, 2,000 sa TPK. Tapos, Zax is 2,000. Sa meals in it's 1,800. So, start with percent. The minimums would be Hina. Minimums would be for category C, 31 left, 440 feet. 440 feet. So let's start building. Let's start building this thing. So kailangan ko yung it is 41 sure. Okay guys, overlay nameplate. Okay, 31011 max. Next is QNH 104 it's 27 27 degrees. Okay, 31011. Okay, and documents it's 440 MPa. 440 MPa. Check. Compensation para output natin. Compensation set 1014. Okay. Ito is okay, 114. B up is 133. That's full. So we'll dial that down later. So based natin yung range. What up? Yo! Presidential with Japanese. Johan! Johan! Okay, so malapit na tayo sa CFK. We're still high. Publish hold ba to? Pwede tayo mag-hold sa Lendi. Okay, Lendi. Hold. Descending hold tayo sa Lendi. Inbound. So 135. Inbound 135. Hold tayo. Hold. Descending hold tayo sa Lendi. Flight plan. Lendi. Inbound 135. Tama, diba? 135. Ano naman yan? Sa right turn, 230 knots. And their destination date. Okay, we'll do a hold. Okay. So, here. Keep descending the and mag-exit proceed. Dapat meet natin 11,000 na pala eh. Lapit na. Okay. I think it's a cleaner hold. Let's see. So, kung hindi na natin kailangan mag-vote. Kailan na buhay 80s? 1015. Natin yung first 1015. Then, previous days. Malapit na tayo. Natin pwede approach. Yeah. Yo! Yo, man! Ano pa? Multiple device pinapanood mo. So I guess we already know we just passed 6,000. No need for the whole plan. Plan D. Yo! Yo! Tingnan natin yung whole. Okay na yan. Diretso na tayo. 7,000. Ay! So, lapit na tayo. Bilis lang. Speed brakes. Natin yan. Medium. Auto brakes to be. Okay, terrain on hindi. Wala naman terrain dito. Yo! Alright, we are approaching LGA. From LGA, rival ILS 1. Yo! From LGA, direct tayo DPK. Nice. So, okay. Stocks. Near. So, diretso. ND. LGA. Pabilisan natin. Kahit 245. So, 3,000 na tayo. Okay lang. Anyway, on. Fighters. Oh. Yeah, guys. So, sana may natutunan kayo kay Capt and Escalante. Sorry na kayo. Check ng chat. Install ako Zoom. Yes, sir. Yo! What game is that, yo? YBA. Hello, yo. Wait lang. Yung tipong... Wait. Sige. Yan, sorry. Malapit na tayo. We'll start. Yan, ang bilis lumot sandali. So, plane D. Shallow descent lang tayo. Feet per minute. Hindi ka tayo kasi volume. Ano naman? Bakit fixed? Information. Bakit naman fixed? Continuous descent na tayo. Down to 4,000. Ganda oh. Downtown New York. Laguardia is just ahead. After this turn, LaGuardia is just ahead. So that's the Hudson River. Galing. Disconnect. Then LaGuardia. Just there. Galing. So, dito ako naglalaro ng helicopter minsan sa downtown. Yeah, somewhere there, downtown. So, yung going to the city. Hey, galing. Weather. Some weather. Yeah, you can hear my son talking to his friend. Let's increase the descent rate already. Slow down. 220 knots. Malapit na pala sa ano yan, yung helicopter na nilalaro ko. Bridge. So, let's look for Statue of Liberty. Should be steep. Okay. Yeah, should be just there. Ulit na. Nag-one. Right, so I guess to nag-land instantly. Yep. Okay, let's try this. 6, 4, there. So look at the island somewhere there. Yeah, hanapin natin. Okay, which island? Statue of Liberty. The approach to JFK. So, DPK, right turn. Go! Kausap niya yung mga kaibigan niya. Alright, lapit na. Almost there. 101 time. Laps. Layo pa yan. So, for continue descent. Salo na natin ito. Documents. So, outside. Pwede ba tayo mag-descent sa 2,000 plus tayo mag-open this vertical speed with vertical speed. Sakto lang yan, mga 300. Shallow natin. 2-0 miles pa na. 1.5. Dito plus. 3,000. Bago mag-DPK 1,000 feet per minute. That will be good. Sakto lang. Alright. Then picking up on the LS about 5 vectors looking up later. Alright. Na. ACC field. No. Alam niyo, malapit ka na huli. Nalaro niyo yun. Airport. Ganda. Overlay. No, what's that? Boring. I need to like, navigate this. Watchman. Ooh, exciting nito. Check development. Exciting. Let's go to flying position. Oh, you need the medicine. Yo, what medicine is it? Was it? Okay. Just land it on the ground. So, let's on the approach. Degree turn, arm approach. Cat racing hill. The fire. Galing. Malakas pala ako dito eh. Sa map eh. Naka-overlay. Disconnect. Okay. Kaya put the gear on the fast approach. You know, how do you move the ball? Important siya medyo gumagalaw na. Oop, galing-galing mag-video. Eight. And director stop. Alright, let's do this. Some feet at some power, you're reducing speed. The front there. Okay, totalizer. Totalizer divides. One, three, three. And you're not landing. Nadaanin natin. Sound check. Okay, commencing time. 1-8. Inbound course. 310. 1-4 outside. Okay. Push it content. Add lang. Add lang yan. 320. Check. Get up na natin. Alright. Lapit na. Konting tempo. Lock. Power setting natin. Pinalaro sila ng mga bata. Okay, guys, look sa live. Kaya na lang natin yan. Bata. Humihipa yung rudder. Set. Santino. Yan o. Kasi ito kaya tayo. Hindi sa stick ko eh. Kaya rudder. Hindi ko nagkakala. Rudder. Eh. 1-8. Okay, tayo natin yung right side. Capture. Yung rudder. Okay. Wait. Ano siya? Rudder. Let's start. Speed check. Okay, start descending. Descend. Pull. To the left. Contact. Wait lang. Mataas dito. Okay. So far. Pag hinihila ko yung nag-rewash siya. Kaya hindi ko na-maintain yung okay, keep there. The rotation. Inner marker. Dito pala yun. Uy. Bakit? Pucha. Nakadisconnect pala yung keyboard ko. Kaya pala. Forward. Yan.
2 mile final runway 31 left.
Not bad.
Sink rate.
Oh, so, hindi, ano lang yan.
500.
Ganda ng JFK. Nangyari kaya dito. Over to runway 4. Ito is kaya pala taas ng ano ko. So, hindi ko napansin. Akala ko nag-drop na yung flaps. Hindi lang ako nakapagod. Still within the TDC. Ayan. Kaya siya nag-error. Cockpit Chatter?
Cockpit Chatter.
Cockpit Chatter?
Exploring destinations one runway at a time.